Hey guys, welcome to Surviving Adulthood.
Hi, I'm Tenile.
AJ.
And Andy.
So, how are you guys surviving adulthood this week?
Ooh, child. I made it. We made it. We're here.
Right.
So you got to celebrate the successes.
Yeah.
But it's been a week.
Let's dive in. Let's dive in a little
I'm
bit.
happy it's a 3-day weekend because I've been literally moving every single day.
Right.
So you can't wait
It
for
just as
that
far as
Monday.
like driving, everything, just really having set down. And so I was like, all right, tomorrow's gonna be my day.
You're gonna slow it down.
Unwind, because I feel like I always say the typical answer, like, I'm good, I'm okay.
Right.
But earlier I was just like, I'm just drained, or like I feel like I'm just working and always doing other things. So this is kind of like, my time where I be like, ooh, okay, I
You
can
always
reset.
preoccupied.
Let me, like, survive adulthood and, bring it in with you guys. So it's a good way to.
That's true. You
What
made
about
it.
you?
That's a good point because, like, I do always say that when I'm like walking in passing, like, oh, how are you doing? I'm fine. I'm really
Right, like,
crying.
it's like
I'm great. I'm
right,
good.
it's the automatic
I'm
Gucci
Gucci.
response.
Yeah.
Or not Gucci.
Yeah,
Not
Not
Gucci.
Gucci.
Yeah.
Like,
I hate that I said
but
that.
how do you tell somebody like, no, I'm
Actually, I'm devastated.
Really?
Well, that is true too, because like sometimes people just don't care. People
Right.
don't care
True.
about like how you really feel.
They
Right.
just
So,
saying it. It's like a robotic thing, kind of like how I was feeling this week. It's just kind of like, work, sleep, go back to work, sleep, get some groceries, try to cook, try and like, you know what I mean? It's the same little robotic routine, which is like, it's a little rough. That's why I try and like celebrate the little successes.
Right.
Like when I can,
I'm gonna say, what was that success? Tell us.
get to work on time, have that meeting where people are like, hey, such and such,
Right,
how you doing? I actually did have like a really good meeting this week, so I was very proud about that because,
that's good.
it being in like the work field is like different because in some cases, you're like the only person in there that looks like yourself, if that makes sense. So you gotta represent for the people, and when you do, it does feel a little good. But
It feels good.
But sometimes it gets to the point where it's like, is this what I'm doing this for? Like, am I only in it for this? Like, am I selling out? I don't know. You know what I mean?
I do. My week was not stressful, but I've been looking for a job. I've been like online looking.
Yeah.
Cause who don't want to get paid more, do something different.
Right. Kudos to you for taking that leap.
And also doing something that you enjoy doing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like,
That's a leap.
I swear, I'm over just working.
Yeah.
Like, where I'm just,
You want to do something for a reason and really
Right.
have like a good
Yeah.
feeling, like a real purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
So recently,
Yeah.
I've
So,
been doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to do that.
I'm always a mom. That's
Right.
always, I don't never go
Right.
anywhere. So day-to-day stuff with my son. But other than that, just really staying focused on really trying to find something that not only pays more, but that I'm sincerely happy doing.
Right.
So what I'm not willing to do though is to like sell out or to
Right.
sell myself out. Like,
right.
do you guys ever feel like you're for sale?
I mean, like, what is this sellout to y'all? Like,
Well, like, taking a job that you know and that you wouldn't be happy. Like if with the job description, if they have you doing stuff that's
Just
like
because the money's good.
yeah, stuff that
No.
that you normally wouldn't
Yeah.
do that would
No.
jeopardize your integrity.
I mean, and no disrespect, like I know what you mean, because if you're willing to do something just for the money, like you might as well
Cause you be like, that check look.
be a stripper. Nothing wrong with
nice.
strippers, because I have friends that are strippers and they lit. So I mean, it is what it is. But
I was
you
more
know.
so thinking like a manual labor job. No, I don't care.
Oh my God, I spent years.
You pay
doing
me
it, though.
like
Yeah.
I don't want to lift anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Fine with not doing that, but they get paid well.
Yeah,
like
they do.
it's some people that's bringing in $9,000 a month
Yeah.
just to do some type of
Yeah.
form of
It's a
labor.
physical labor,
Right.
yeah.
and I don't care.
You just not want
not-
to. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, every job is not every job is not for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
But what really makes me think about that is when Monique recently did that interview on Steve Harvey, and they had a little spout in regards to integrity and about money.
Right.
And so, like,
Money,
you know,
money game.
what you
Being a
feel like
money
you
game.
deserve and what you feel like you're not bending over to get
Right.
for what you feel like you deserve. So, you know, I want to dive in a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Before we do that, I do have a question because I'm an aspiring mother. That's what I'm gonna call myself now.
Okay.
But what do y'all like? I don't want to divert the conversation, but like, kind of like about that video.
You want to just bring it back,
right?
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
what would y'all want to instill in your kids as it relates to integrity and money, and like,
That's a
you
good
know, because
question.
Monique was going hard,
And she's a mother.
you know what I mean? So what does that look like for y'all kids? Like,
Well-
what's important to teach
Well, for
them?
me, so like my son, he is still very young, but you know, like he has a thing. So not really like he's not really pressed for money, but he thinks that just because he's good, he always deserves to get something.
Right.
Right? Like, oh, I was good. You know, can I watch this on TV, or can I do this? Can I have that? And it's like you should already be good. Like not
Like,
contingent
you're not
upon
getting-
anything.
Right.
You should already
Right.
be good and do good things because it should make you feel good being this way. Right? So just instilling that principle,
Like you're
You
not
know,
going to
in
be
him-
rewarded for doing the things that
that
you're
you should
supposed to
be
do.
doing. Yeah.
So just like with your job.
Yeah.
Right.
This is your job description.
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
like
So, you know, with him, I just,
That's true.
you know, as far as in like physical money, like money, monetary things, like I just say save, you know, he has a few different piggy banks. Like just save your money. What do you know, why are you spending your money? What would you spend your money on? Those things. But like in terms of like, you know, him selling things or like becoming a little entrepreneur or something like that, I have not talked to
Had
him
those
about
type of
that. No,
conversations
not
yet.
yet. Yeah. But I will, because I think it's important.
Right.
So I think the sooner that your child understands the dollar, understands their wealth, the better off things will be. So I will be starting that because he'll be in first grade soon, and so why not?
right. Yes.
What about
building
you?
wealth. More so with my son. He's older. He's 12. So showing him how to budget his money. My daughter, she's more so like, I have this amount of money and I'm gonna spend it all.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like most kids,
no,
and even
you know,
adults are like that. Like,
right, yeah.
I have this paycheck, or I got this bonus, or just regular paycheck, and I'm about to spend 99.9% of that. It's like, what are you doing?
Right. I mean, that's good advice, because the reason why I asked that is in that interview, I found it very interesting that they were so passionate about something that it's like what was instilled in them as children to make them feel that way or have that relationship with money and wanting to like be known and the fame and because if you were doing, and let me just be frank, I kind of feel like if Monique would have been doing her due diligence with her money at the beginning, she would have invested in things and she wouldn't even be in this situation anymore. But
She would have
applaud her.
leverage.
She would have had leverage.
Yeah.
She would have
Sometimes we
had
don't
longevity.
know,
That's
you know? So
exactly.
For me, I destroyed my credit.
I mean,
you know, like being
yeah.
honest, like as soon as I turned 18, I got a credit card and
Most of us.
know,
Right.
you know, how to manage it and all of these things. So now as you know, I'm approaching 30, these type of things are important. So how am I making my money work for me? Whatever money I do have coming in, building my credit and you know, getting those things removed that were on my credit before, so I have somebody for that. And I'll list that below.
Yeah.
But you know, the things that we need to start talking about, we need to start having these conversations because we don't.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it also used to be a class. I took that class when I was in high school, but I don't think that they offer it anymore, like a money
I didn't have
management or, you know, some type of financial class other than if you're doing it in college. I don't think that we talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's why it's important to talk about it at home.
Right.
You know, as parents and as future parent.
one day.
it's important to start a lot of these conversations at home so
Yeah.
that your kids will be ahead. You know,
I
so
agree.
we have to be able to seek out this knowledge and or know it firsthand.
Right.
So yeah, I just wanted to, you know, put that out there. Can you be bought? Because also too, what struck me in that conversation on the interview with Steve and Monique is you know, the integrity part when she was speaking
Right.
about, you know, well,
Right.
she felt like the money people were not having a lack of integrity because of the dollar, you know, and he was just saying like you can still have integrity, but you have
Right.
to do things a different way, which I do agree, because you can't always bark like if I, you know, if you're at work, right? If I'm at work and I say, okay, I know I deserve a raise, and my manager is not acknowledging that I deserve this raise, and I'm like, well, you know, sending not threatening emails, but
Passionate.
not even aggressive emails, right? Like I deserve this, and using like aggressive language and things of that nature, like that's not going to get through.
Yeah.
Like that's not going to convey, that's not going to convince them to give me this raise.
Right.
You know, so you have to do things differently. And then when you go look for another job and they offer you more money, and then you say, hey, here's my 2 weeks notice, and then they say, oh well, I want you to stay. I'll give you this amount of money for you to stay.
And then know how to play the game.
Exactly, you do.
That's the money game.
So
he's
you
referring
can't
to.
exactly.
But I
so
feel like it's
I'm not gonna just allow you for my integrity to keep like just being a quote unquote little worker bee and doing whatever it's asking me as well, because I'm a person, I'm a good employee. I know my work is good. You need to pay me for it. You're not gonna, you know, no, I'm gonna stand up for myself, but it has to be in the right way.
That's what I was more so pointing towards, because sometimes we don't stand up for what we deserve, and sometimes we also don't know what we deserve, and we need to start having those conversations, even you know, at work, having maybe like a smaller support group where it's like, okay, these type of things are important to me, like how can I ask for a promotion, or you know, what way should I go about it? But I feel like some people have been aggressive in the work field, whether it's in entertainment or in the corporate office. There's some people are more vocal, or not even vocal, but they approach situations different.
Right.
Because sometimes you have to just
That's true.
flat out and go out and say it.
You gotta know who you are.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
You
So I
do.
guess it just
Also,
depends
too,
on, like,
know
the
who you are and know who
situation.
you're dealing with. Like,
Right.
know who your
you're
manager
dealing
is.
with,
Yeah.
all of those type of things. So we need to just start being more vocal and having those conversations with peers, or you know, people around us, so that we can figure out how to approach a situation and stop walking
That's
into
true.
situations blind.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
felt
true.
like for me a long time I didn't know how to ask for a promotion, or you know, like if I'm asking for a promotion, what kind of promotion am I asking for? Because I want a different workload, or am I looking for a title, or is it a money raise?
And not a lateral move,
Right.
like a lateral move and like more responsibilities.
Right.
It's like,
Right.
that's great, because a lot of companies will do that. Like they'll give you all these responsibilities, and they won't give you an actual title
Right.
and pay you for the title.
Right.
Right.
And that's, you know, and that's kind of like a slap in the face. So like, what did you do in order to overcome that, to be able to ask for a raise?
Joining a lot more groups and like support groups where
At your
we're
job?
building those conversations.
Was it at your job?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So some of them are at my job, and then just like right now having conversations with you guys on, you know, what type of things are you guys doing? And for me, it was more so looking for a different workload. Like I've moved around from different positions, because when I first started the company I worked for, I was an intern. And so I'm like, listen, anything that get, you know,
get
in the door.
Yeah.
But once you get in the door, it's like, okay, so now that I'm in the door, what type of steps am I going to take? Because one, I came in as an intern, so people are already looking at me like, she was just an intern, you know? Like,
Right.
yes, I was an intern. But
Like, give
I
me
took
that
these
respect.
steps, you know, to get here. And so now that I'm here, it's still like you're, you know, working a little bit harder, and that's fine. I'm fine with that, because I know where I want to be and I know my work ethic. So just figuring out those type of things. But when I came in as an intern, I didn't know what to do.
Right.
Like, I didn't. I was
And
just
sometimes you
kinda
still
like
may not, because you don't know what's
skating
all
through.
available
Right.
to you,
And
right?
then I
You don't
also
know.
had a great manager.
Right.
So sometimes you might not get
management
a good manager.
makes a huge
Right.
difference.
Like,
Definitely.
It does.
but all of my managers have not been great.
You're right.
So when you don't have a good manager, what type of things do you do?
Oh,
So,
you get up
you
out of
know.
there. That's what I did.
Right.
I just changed
You're like, bye.
positions.
Yeah.
I didn't have a good manager.
Yeah. See.
And sometimes you're not going to always be like buddy with management,
Right.
which is fine, but you should still respect one another. And when you don't have respect, then you don't have anything.
Yeah.
So that's with any relationship.
Right.
And so I felt like she didn't. Yeah, I feel like she didn't respect me, and I definitely didn't respect her as much as I tried and try to show up and like go above and beyond out of my way to do things, and it just never paid off. She was always like kicking me in my ass, or just always had some BS to say and or do, or lack thereof. And so
I kind of brought that up to
went to a
tie
different
in
department
with integrity, because I feel like that falls, under integrity when we're not standing up for our morals.
That's true.
Or, our
That's true.
principles, and we have to start setting those when we're walking into a situation. So going back and saying, okay, even if we're an entrepreneur, what people are you going to work with? Are you going to say no to some people, or are you just going to say, you know what, the money looks good, so I'm going to take it?
So what is your thoughts about this? I had seen an interview on the Breakfast Club, and I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he is good friends with Meek Mill. He's like a billionaire, and he's one of people like helping him with all of this criminal justice reform and all this stuff like that. Anyways, but he was saying like I think he's done business in the past with Trump, and he said, he'll do business with a lot of people,
Right.
Because it's business, it's money. It's like, but would I hang out with you? Would I do any, personal activities with you? Would I invite you over? No.
Right.
So I think it just depends on the individual. Like, what did you do? Like, I'm not working with a accused molester or murderer or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes into what like Steve Harvey was saying about like being in a money game. It's you have to, number one, you have to have a vision. You got to have a plan. You got to know what you're doing and where you're going.
Right.
So like what y'all was saying about like managers and stuff like that. Like I was in retail for 10 years. I know I'm super young, but I was in retail for 10 years, and out of 10 of those years, I was a manager 5 years. So I will ask you to do things that are outside of your typical day-to-day, because I need to know what type of worker are you, who are you. You do have to like prove yourself a little bit, but at the same time they should be able to like, this is work. I need to know how to, I'll never forget, Nicki Minaj said this in like an interview about Monica Lewinsky. Monica Lewinsky, that's her name. Anyways, she said you got to know how to leverage,
you do.
your power.
You do.
She was in there with in the Oval Office with the president, and all she got out of it was like a book and a couple of dollars. Like, I wish I would. So I'm saying that to say we are all in a money game. You got to know how to deal with the certain people that you need to deal with.
Right.
You need to be confident. You need to be bold, and you need to ask for what you deserve the best way possible.
Right.
I don't know that that's the case with Monique or whatever. I love her. First of all, she's like one of the only, or the first woman to actually do like a full stand-up comedy series in a prison. Like, that's lit. So I have the utmost respect for her. She's a legend, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
But there is a certain way that you have to carry yourself, especially as someone that looks like us.
Yeah,
because we
as
just
black
look
women,
at it.
That's what I felt like she was saying. She was like, why? I know that.
I would love to be equal.
When she was saying why, what are we talking about?
I'm saying, like, in the interview, I feel
She
like
kept saying
she, basically was like, okay, I hear whatever y'all saying
Right.
about, because we're African American,
And she's
or,
pushing that envelope,
because A, B, and C, but she just like, I really don't care. That's why she told them
to do
whatever.
that.
Right.
Like,
Right.
you know, screw all y'all, basically.
Well, that's the thing, and I said,
she
you
was
know
just
what, and that's fine.
That's kind of where it was like her integrity, where she like, I'm gonna just have to agree to disagree on this one, and you know, like I'm not mad, but we disagree, like,
Right.
and I think that's just
Right.
kind of like the bottom line from what I got from that video, where she was just like,
I think
y'all
she was
gonna
still
feel this
mad. I
way.
think she was still pissed off, which she's totally entitled to feel that way.
I think she was more so upset just because they feel like they're kind of family, you know, like it's just like.
I see what you're
Well,
saying.
even then, I mean, he did admit that he said he should have called you first,
Right.
called her first
Or her
before
feelings
making
may have been hurt,
he
you
made
know?
a public
Right.
opinion and or comment
Right.
about the situation
Right.
before talking to her.
That's
and
true.
so and she felt like she deserved a call.
Right,
And
right.
she did. And that's what he was saying, like I
Right.
probably should did that. That was my bad. But even then, like, you know, sometimes everybody doesn't have the luxury to do something cookie cutter and do things a certain way that most people feel is the right way. Sometimes you need a renegade,
You definitely do. I was
you
just
know,
gonna say
and that's
that.
how like sometimes people make history.
Rosa.
Right.
And sometimes
Black history.
you gonna have to be alone. Sometimes you'll be isolated
Right.
and
Yeah.
annihilated. That's it.
Alienated.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Alienated. That's what I
Support
meant.
Black history.
Yeah. So, but those are the things that
That's how
that you
start
know,
history.
yeah,
you're
really.
right.
And
You're
so, even though like I don't totally agree with how she handled everything, but I do think that sometimes you just have to do what you think is right,
Right.
regardless of what
Yeah.
anybody else's
Right.
opinions or thoughts are. You just have to do what's right for you, and
Because you're living for yourself.
You are.
yeah. Because she was thinking about
Yeah.
other people, and he did mention like, you know, Steve Harvey mentioned like you can't help people
Poor
or-
people.
yeah,
If
poor
you're
people.
poor.
Yeah.
And I hear him on that.
You
Because
know,
he was
for
like,
real.
no, like,
You know, which is
I'm
true.
not,
you know, but sometimes you have to be that sacrifice.
but that was her, you know, her integrity.
yeah,
she
and that's what she felt like
you know,
that. And that's she right.
this
Long,
was
soon as she
important to me.
got that, I just have to agree to disagree. I think that things will be better. I do
Right.
think that, you know, everybody should apologize and move on, and hopefully you can build and make money together, because that's the name of the game.
Right.
So that's another thing too. So like if you do come into conflict with management and or like a coworker or colleague, like how do you come back from that and then still move forward and still feel like your integrity is intact?
That's a good question.
That yeah.
That
Cause why are you? You gotta know your role. You gotta know your lane. You know what I mean? Like just like stay in a child's place. Like I don't know if y'all heard that as children,
Yeah.
but you have to know your audience. You gotta know who you're talking to.
We for sure.
So I mean, our current president of the United States is teaching us otherwise. You know, if you want something, go after it. However, in this specific climate, you can,
Right.
but in this specific climate, it's a certain way that you have to do it. So I mean, if you get into it with your boss, like why are you getting into it with your boss? You're not finessing the situation correctly. You don't know your audience. Like that's another thing. Like why I think we should like continue to read and get different types of knowledge and different types of tactics on how to
Right.
handle situations, because you have
So you
to
can be
know how to
diverse in your
play people
situations,
or
right.
work with people no matter who they are.
Yeah.
Because people are not going to be on board with you 24/7.
That's true.
So you have to know how to
Absolutely.
finesse them in any situation.
Yeah.
I suggest you guys all read the 50 Laws of Power. Is that the name of it? That's
Yeah,
the
it
one.
is.
I didn't read the
Yeah.
whole thing, but I mean, that's it.
communication is key.
Communication is definitely key. And what I did like about that interview is Monique is definitely thinking free. She's thinking like as we are all equal. If I don't want to do something, I don't have to do it.
Right.
But
She said no.
Yeah,
Right. That's
yeah.
that's what one of her first, statements.
free.
She said, I said no to you, and you, and
No.
And what's
now I'm in trouble
basically,
for it.
Right.
saying no.
now I'm,
But our president
the-
is doing that now, and he's perfectly fine. So, like, if she was somebody else, if
Would
she
have
was,
mattered,
if she was
yeah.
a different gender, if she was
Or
a different
race.
race, she wouldn't be getting the same response, and that's real. That's real. But I do think they
It's
brought
just
up
the
some good-
reality we live in
Yeah.
now.
That's
So.
adulthood. Y'all gotta be adults, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that is one of the things of surviving adulthood,
It
because
definitely is.
you have a responsibility for yourself if you don't, if you're not taking care of children or other people.
Right.
So you have to get through this. You have to get through
You
your
gotta know how to
day-to-day
talk to people.
work life. Yeah.
Right. She still got bills
Because you
to
said
pay.
exactly. You know.
It's not like she's super popping on all types of marketing platforms.
No.
I mean, we all know who she is, but my little cousin that's like 19, she doesn't have the same feel. She didn't see Queens of Comedy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, she don't know who she
Monique
is. That's
doesn't have
somebody
the
just
same
making
impact
noise.
on her as she does
That's
on
somebody
on
just
us
making noise.
who,
You have to know.
who know her.
You
who
gotta know
her
your
well.
audience.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
So, yeah.
So that's what I mean.
So today, we were talking about integrity.
Mm-hmm.
What does integrity mean to you? Money. How next week we'll talk about how we're building wealth and making whatever money we do have coming in work for us. Today, while we were discussing integrity and money, it made us think about all of the different things that we can be doing if we haven't already been doing them.
Right.
So something to explore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you like what you hear or see, definitely stay tuned, subscribe. We have content coming out every Wednesday.
Yes. And don't let yourself be bought.
Please
Okay.
don't do it. So I am AJ.
Andy,
And I'm Tenile.
See y'all next week.
and we are surviving adulthood.
Yes.